All right, let's talk about something we all do, a simple communication mistake that almost everyone makes, and you probably don't even realize you're doing it. It seems small, but trust me, it has a huge impact on pretty much every relationship in our lives. I mean, really think about this for a second. Have you ever walked away from a conversation, maybe a meeting at work, or even just a little argument with a friend, and felt like you were talking to a brick wall? Like, it didn't matter what you said, the other person just wasn't getting it. It is so frustrating, right? And it happens all the time. So what is this thing? What's this universal mistake that causes so much frustration and misunderstanding? It's way deeper than just, being rude. Let's get right to the core of it.
And there it is. That's the whole thing. The huge mistake we all make is simply speaking without truly listening first. I know, it sounds ridiculously simple, right? But this is the root of so many problems. We're just so busy thinking about what we're going to say next, planning our brilliant comeback, that we totally miss the point of what the other person is actually trying to tell us.
And look, this isn't just some passive thing where we zone out. It actually shows up pretty aggressively in our conversations. It's that powerful, almost irresistible urge to interrupt. We see this all the time, don't we? Rushing to argue a point, cutting someone off mid-sentence, basically just trying to dominate the conversation. And, deep down, it's often a kind of defense mechanism. Our brain is racing, trying to poke holes in what they're saying, or maybe our ego gets a little bruised and wants to jump in and take that control. Suddenly, it's not a conversation anymore. It's a fight to see who gets the last word. Okay, so we've all been there. That's the problem. But what's the fix? Well, thankfully, there's a really powerful alternative. Let's talk about what our source material calls the art of dialogue. I absolutely love this phrase, thoughtful dialogue. It's not just talking. It's not just waiting your turn. It's a practice. That word implies that it takes intention, it takes care, and it means you're genuinely trying to connect with someone, not just conquer them in an argument. This is the big idea we need to grab onto. So let's just put this side by side for a second, because it makes it super clear. On one side, you've got the mistake, speaking without listening, which leads to all that rushing and interrupting and dominating. But on the other side, you've got the solution, the conscious practice of listening fully, thinking about your words, and really truly aiming for understanding. It's a total shift in how you approach talking to people. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we make this real? Well, it really breaks down into 3 simple steps. First, listen fully. And that doesn't just mean being quiet until they stop talking. It means actually absorbing what they're saying, their words, their tone, without planning your response. Step 2, weigh words carefully. Just take a beat. That little pause gives you a second to ask yourself, is what I'm about to say going to help, or is it going to make things worse? And finally, the most important step of all, which is a whole mindset shift. Just aim for understanding. That last step, aiming for understanding, that is so important, it really needs its own moment. This is the final piece of the puzzle. It's about changing the entire goal of the conversation. And this is the big mind shift right here. Your primary goal is no longer to win. It's not to persuade them. It's not to prove that you're right. Your only goal is to understand, to genuinely get where the other person is coming from, what they're feeling, and why they see things the way they do. When you make that your goal, everything changes. You might still persuade them in the end, sure, but it'll be a side effect of a real connection, not the reason you were talking in the first place. So at the end of the day, what does this all boil down to? Look, this isn't about perfectly changing every conversation you have overnight. It's about taking one small intentional step. So I'll leave you with this question. In your very next conversation, maybe it's in 5 minutes, maybe it's tomorrow, what is the one small thing you can do to just listen first? Because that one little change, that could be the start of something amazing for how you connect with everyone in your life.